Hey there, everyone, and welcome to today's training. I am so excited that you are all here joining me. Today, we're going to talk about why waiting until you are confident enough to do things in your online business and in your marketing is a slippery slope and something that I don't want you to do. And I'm going to talk about where to focus instead. So that is today's topic. We're going to be discussing why feeling confident isn't really the best measure of your ability to do something. I'm going to share the 2 C's to help you get scary things done in your business. And I'm going to walk you through my top tips for getting unstuck and moving in action to achieve your goals. My goal for you today is to get you out of maybe feeling a little bit stuck or confused or overwhelmed or unconfident right now and get you to a place where you feel like you can do this, you can take on the world, you can take on your business and all those things. So I'm so excited that you're all here with me today. I'd love to hear from you in the comments just as we get started. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you're here with me live, or if you're catching the replay, go ahead and let me know you are part of our replay crew in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you. I've already heard from so many of you in the comments to get us started. So I can't wait to share with you today. Gabrielle says, confidence to go live is tough. I did it yesterday. I don't love it yet. Gabrielle, so proud of you for going live. And that's okay if you don't love it yet. That's totally fine. Liz says this came at the right time for me. Latoya, hey Latoya, thanks for joining me. Can't wait to hear. This is such a great topic. So glad that you are all here with me today and can't wait to chat with you. If I haven't met you before, hello. My name is Tyler J. McCall. I help people use Instagram to start and grow their online businesses. And I teach Instagram marketing strategy for online business owners in a way that doesn't have you glued to your phone 24/7, that doesn't require you to use paid ads, and that lets you start seeing results on Instagram with the followers you have right now without posting 75 times a week, because nobody has time for all that. I'm also host of the Online Business Show, which is a weekly podcast where we talk about all things online business, marketing, and entrepreneurship, and founder of OBA, the Online Business Association. So I'm really excited to chat with you all today about confidence in our online businesses. So I'm going to make sure I am distraction free over on my end. I'm going to invite you to do the same, at least to the best of your ability, so that you and I can have some dedicated time together for the next little bit and talk about today's topic. So hey there, Risa from Winston-Salem. Chris is up in Michigan where it's almost 60 degrees. I love it, Chris. Amazing. Happy Tuesday, Lynn. So glad that you're here. Heather's with us from Toronto. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Okay, so let's dive in and let's talk about this. We're going to talk today about confidence, why it's a slippery slope in our businesses. I'm going to walk you through the 2 C's that you can use to replace this this kind of like obsession with confidence that we have in our businesses, and talk about how you can get yourself moved to action. I want to hear from you in the comments though. Let me know if being confident to do things is something that you struggle with sometimes. I'm probably going to hear yes from all of you. Let me know. Just put a yes in the comments if that's true for you. I know it's true for me as well, so I hope today's conversation is helpful. So I want to talk about why we're talking about this. The reason that I wanted to talk about confidence in particular today is because it really ends up being one of the #1 reasons that people don't do scary things in their business. And for all of us, scary things in their business and our businesses feel different, right? So for some people, it's going live. For some people, it's pitching themselves to be on a podcast. For other folks, it's actually like inviting someone to buy. Maybe you have the sales call or you're having the sales conversation and you just feel scared to actually say, so do you want in? So do you want to join? So can I send you the link to enroll? Whatever it may be. For others, it may be things like hiring. It may be things like firing, all these scary things that can kind of, that we have to do in our business as entrepreneurs. And this tends to be the #1 reason that people don't do those things. And I hear this all the time. People say, I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident enough to do this. I don't feel like I have the confidence to put this out there. I don't feel like I have the confidence to show up on live video. The next reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's really confidence is one of the most common things I hear from people who are avoiding marketing their business on Instagram. So I'm an Instagram marketing strategist. It's what I do. It's what I've been doing for over 5 years now. And I've worked with thousands of clients over the past 5 years. And time again, this comes up in conversation and coaching and whenever we interview our clients, whenever we record videos, testimonial videos, whenever we send out surveys and ask people why they didn't join us in our program, time and time again, confidence is the thing. And then the last reason I wanted to talk about this is because I believe that the concept of confidence is something that we can easily address, that we can talk about it today, that my goal is to equip you with a few skills and a few new things that you can think about in your business, and that you can go on your merry way and just start working toward it. And that for me is really exciting, because it's one of those like, oh, this is easy, we can address this, we can work on this, so let's do it. So if you're ready to talk about confidence, let me know in the comments. Go ahead and just let me know you're ready to learn today. Drop your favorite happy celebratory emoji and let me know that you're ready for this conversation today. So I want to start by talking about, and someone mentioned earlier, the post I put up on Instagram earlier today, and maybe Rachel, who's from my team, who's here tuned in with me, Rachel, if you don't mind maybe dropping a link to that post from Instagram in the comments, so you can all check that out, or let me know if you saw my post earlier today talking about confidence. I talked about this earlier today. So I have never really felt confident. I am a larger than life person. I am a chubby guy. I'm a queer person. And I grew up in like the buckle of the Bible Belt here in the mountains of North Carolina. So I never really fit in my entire life. I never felt confident, from childhood always being like the chubbiest kid in the room, to middle school, high school, learning that I didn't fit in with the other boys because I liked the other boys, to college, learning that going to like a Southern Baptist super Christian university may have not been the best idea for me as someone who was like queer and outspoken and political and liberal and all these things that didn't really fit in. Like I wasn't really making, it wasn't the key to like friendships in a lot of my college experience. To things like almost not getting my first job because I was too gay to be hired by this executive director that was hiring for a role. And I did get the job, and things have worked out, and I was blessed to have a really incredible nonprofit career before leaving that to pursue entrepreneurship. But all throughout college, childhood, high school, middle school, whatever, I never felt confident. However, I always was confident. So I want to break this down a little bit, and I want to talk about the difference between feeling confident and being confident. Are you with me so far? Let me know in the comments if you're picking up what I'm putting down here. This is what we're going to start our conversation with today. So as I was preparing for today's live training, I was thinking about what is confidence? What does it really mean? And I was thinking about myself. I was like reading what other people have said about confidence. And finally, I just looked up the definition of confidence. And the definition of confidence says feeling self-assurance that's rooted in your appreciation of your own qualities, abilities, and talents. So what we're going to talk about is how, instead of focusing on confidence, I want us to focus on self-assurance. And the way that we build self-assurance is by appreciating our abilities, our qualities, and our talents. So if we want to be more confident, we have to be more self-assured in what comes naturally and truly to us. Now, where this becomes a little bit difficult for us as online business owners, as entrepreneurs, as creative folks, showing up on the internet, posting our work online, building communities online, is that there's a lot of noise and distraction. Do you feel that with me? Let me know in the comments if you feel a lot of the noise and distraction in your particular niche or industry or the work that you do. Whatever it is, whether you're a coach or consultant, whether you have a course or a membership, whether you provide services, whether you're a maker or an artist, you create products and sell them online. There are lots of people that do what you do. You know, we've kind of reached this point. I talked about this last week in last week's live, which you can check out right here on Facebook. It's part of the series of videos with this weekly marketing training series. We talked about this last week. How there's a lot of people doing the things that you and I do now. And 2020 was really a year in which so many people saw the opportunity to build an online business, either by necessity, or they just saw this opportunity, so they decided to pursue online entrepreneurship. So there's a lot of people doing what we do. And I think that creates a little bit of the rub with being confident online because it's so easy for us. It's so incredibly easy for us to look to the side and see what other people are doing and to think, well, as soon as I have what they have, I can do that. As soon as I am as confident as they are, I would be able to do that. As soon as I am clear on how I can best show up, I'll be able to do that. But I want to tell you right now that if you're trying to build your entire business, your marketing strategy, all of that, by just looking side to side to side to see what everyone else is doing, you're missing your own path. You're missing the ability to build your own self-assuredness. You're missing the opportunity to appreciate your own abilities, your own qualities, your own talents, because you're so obsessed with everyone else's abilities and talents. And you really start to miss out on that unique secret thing that you have or that you do or that you say that no one else can do, say, or have. That thing that is truly uniquely yours, that no one can take away from you. So the first part of this conversation is a conversation I have a lot. I've talked about a lot. You've probably heard me say this before, but it's the importance of keeping your blinders on. And I talk about this in the context of the lesson I learned from my friend Oprah. Not my friend yet. Maybe one day. Who knows? We'll see. Also, did y'all watch that interview on Sunday? Chef's kiss. Must watch television. So good. Mastery at interviewing, mastery at storytelling. It was an oh my gosh. You didn't watch the Oprah sit down with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry on CBS? So good. But one of the things that Oprah has talked about openly, one of the things that she credits her success to is keeping her blinders on. At the height of the talk show wars in the 80s and 90s, when Oprah was on TV, and Phil Donahue was still on television, and Sally Jessy Raphael was on TV, and Ricky Lake, and Montel, and Maury, and Jerry Springer, and all of these talk shows were happening, all at the same time, and they were all battling for the ratings and the commercial attention and the dollars for their talk show, right? They would other shows would have guests or they would have storylines on the show, and producers would bring it to Oprah and say, well, Donahue did this, Sally Jessy's having so-and-so, Ricky Lake's talking about this. Should we do this? Should we talk about it? Should we do what they're doing? And finally she said, no, we're not paying attention to what they're doing. We're focused on our vision, the mission we have for our show. We're talking to our audience about the things that they want to hear about and the things that we want to talk about. We're putting our blinders on. We're running our own race. And just think, if Oprah would have spent those decades paying attention to what everyone else in the talk show race was doing, how much of an opportunity she would have missed out on to build her empire, to establish herself as the expert, right? So I want to ask you a question right now. I'd love to hear from you honestly in the comments. Are there times right now where you find yourself being distracted by other people that do what you do? I'll raise my hand and say yes. I sure as heck find myself doing that from time to time. So you're not alone if you experience that. And it could be things like obsessing over what they're doing on Instagram, listening to their podcast all the time and trying to dissect it, signing up for their products or their funnels or downloading their opt-ins and trying to backwards engineer what they're doing so that you can do the same thing in your business. And all of those things just make us feel really, really bad about ourselves. It really cuts into our confidence. Again, because confidence is being self-assured in your own abilities and based on the appreciation of your talents, your qualities, your abilities. So are you understanding? Let me know if this is making sense to you in the comments. By obsessing over someone else's talents and qualities and abilities, you are not fully appreciating your own. So this is the first opportunity for you today, is to get clear on the uniqueness of you, the abilities, the talents, the skills, the qualities that you have that make you truly and uniquely yourself, that you want to capitalize on, that you want to show to the world, and that can help you stand out and cut through all the noise, right? Instead of trying to do all the things that other people are doing, just doing the things that only you can do. For example, in teaching Instagram marketing, there's so many people you can learn from. There are so many incredible educators out there and experts for Instagram marketing strategy, but none of them have my point of view. None of them have my experience in the nonprofit world. None of them have my experience with doing political and community organizing. None of them have my experience with running an agency, then going into coaching and then starting a membership site. They may have bits and pieces of that puzzle, but no one has my complete journey. And no one else has my sense of humor, my point of view, the way in which I process information. No one else can teach the way that I teach. I recently had a friend who I was spending some time with, and she said, one of the things I've always admired about you is just how you show up in the world and how you speak and and your confidence and how you teach and how you magnetize people to you. I want you to teach me that. I want to learn that from you. And I said, I don't think I can teach that to you because that's just like me. I can't like create a framework around that. It would feel disingenuous. It would be weird. And if I were to like copy and paste me onto someone else and they do all those things, then they're not being themselves. They're pretending to be me. And that's not going to help them build their business and connect with their audience and create their success in their own way, right? Is this making sense? So the first thing is put your blinders on. Stop paying attention to other people. If that means you need to unfollow people, do it. If that means you need to block them, do it. I've talked about this before. Blocking people who do the things that you do, not because you don't want them to see your content, but because you need to prevent yourself from seeing their content. I think we need to be really honest about our ability to keep our eyes on our own paper and how hard that is. And when we're kind of having these moments of frustration or disappointment in ourselves, it's really easy to just kind of pile on and go see what other people are doing. I know I do this sometimes. Go see what other people are doing and then start to feel worse about ourselves. Why do we do that to ourselves, right? So if you have to block them on Instagram so that you, not because you don't care if they see what you're doing, but because when you go look at their profile, you won't see what they're doing, then do it. Whatever you need to do to protect your well-being, your mental health, keep your blinders on, right? Is something you can totally do. I just want to do a quick little shout out to something. Yesterday, I just released a new episode of my podcast, The Online Business Show. This show comes out every single week, every Monday morning. You can check it out at onlinebusinessshow.co. And yesterday's episode was so good. I had my friend Topsy Vanden Bosch on. Topsy is a mindset coach for women business owners. She pulls from her experience as a licensed clinical social worker and years of experience in counseling and mental health services for individuals and families. And we talked all about how to navigate entrepreneurial mindset spirals. And I think that's really appropriate for today's conversation because whenever we kind of find ourselves in those moments of, oh, this isn't working as I had thought, this isn't working as I had hoped, this isn't what I had planned to do right now, we kind of get into this spiral of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is awful. This is terrible. This isn't going to work. I have to quit. I got to stop. I'm just going to go on Craigslist and start looking for jobs. Is that just me? Anyone else do that? So Topsy and I talked about how to navigate entrepreneurial mindset spirals. We talked about some particular ones. We talked about financial spirals. We talked about launches not going as you had hoped spirals. We talked about the imposter syndrome spiral. And she gave some really practical tips and ideas on how to handle that. So I want to invite you to go check it out, onlinebusinessshow.co. And just a quick little kind of like preview of things to come. Next week, we're launching a brand new series on the podcast. It's a 6-part series called my Marketing Success Series. I'm so excited about this. So every week for 6 weeks, starting next Monday, I'm going to be releasing a new episode. These are all 20 to 30 minute episodes, which if you know anything about me, that's shorter than my normal episode because I love to talk. So 20 to 30 minute episodes about a specific marketing concept or topic. Next week is the first part of the Marketing Success Series, and we're talking about the scientist mentality for marketing in your online business and walking you through this kind of mindset framework that I use in my business on a literal daily basis to navigate all the mindset BS that comes up in my business and how I think like a scientist in my business. So it's going to be really good. So onlinebusinessshow.co. Definitely check that out. So I want to talk now about, talk about the definition of confidence. And again, how the goal here is instead of focusing on confidence, the goal is to focus on self-assurance and appreciating your abilities, qualities, and talents. Now, before we go into the 2 C's, I want to talk about those and break them down for you. I have to get some water. I want to say something important here because I kind of, this post I put up on Instagram earlier today, there was some feedback, there was like some comments and some messages about the post, and people sharing it, and they were saying, and the post I put up is, it just pretty much said like, you will never feel confident enough to do the scary things. I didn't say things, I said a bad word, but I'm not going to say it on live. You will never feel confident enough to do the scary things in your business. Just the reality is that you're never going to feel confident enough. So what should we focus on instead? And a lot of people were sharing that post are saying, yes, this is why you just have to do it. You just have to fake it till you make it. And I think that's dangerous. And I don't think that's the solution here. I'm not going to come on this live video and say, look, confidence is hard. You're never going to feel confident. So you should just fake it. Just fake it till you make it, right? Because I think that faking it until you make it is some of the root of imposter syndrome, right? Also, my husband laughs at the way I say syndrome, so I apologize if it's not the correct way. But that faking it until you make it, let me know in the comments if you're not a fan of faking it till you make it, or maybe like what your take on faking it till you make it is, or how it makes you feel. For me, it makes me feel like, oh, well, I'm just always going to be faking it because faking it till you make it, it's just kind of like kicking the can down the road. And the realization is like, oh, well, I'm never going to make it, so I'm just going to continue to fake it. I'm just always going to be faking it. And that's not the goal here. Faking it until you make it isn't the solution to not feeling confident. The solution are these 2 C's, which are competence and consistency, right? So instead of faking it till you make it, the goal is to build competence and to master consistency. You got that? Put it in the comments. Put in the comments those 2 words that I just said. The 2 C's, if you picked up what those were. I love what you're saying. Lucretia says, not a fan. Rashida said, Rashonda, excuse me, says, so not a fan. It always rubbed me the wrong way. Gabrielle says, I've heard that and it doesn't resonate. Liz says it feels so unauthentic, like I'm really fake. Yeah. I love this. Tiffany says, I've learned it as push through the tough stuff or do it even if you are scared. Obviously, if there is no real danger. I love that. I love that, Tiffany. That's a good way. Yeah. Okay, got it. So you all got it. Competence and consistency. So that's what we're going to talk about. Instead of feeling confident, instead of building confidence, Lord, the Southern just jumped out, building confidence. Instead of building confidence, we want to build competence and consistency. So competence is about learning how to do something. And I think 9 times out of 10, the lack of confidence that you may be experiencing in your marketing right now is because you just don't know how to do it. You don't know the step-by-step how to do this thing. And think about how many things in our lives that we don't know how to do that we probably don't feel confident about. For example, changing the oil in a car. I don't know how to do that, so I don't feel confident about it. In general, as a gay man, I don't feel confident about car maintenance. As a millennial, I don't feel confident about car maintenance. I don't know if you've seen these memes before of millennials who like take their car to the shop and like the first question you would have for the mechanic is, "Are you mad at me?" I totally identify with that. Are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Right? So I don't know how to do those things. I'm not competent at the mechanics of a car, so I'm not confident in how to do it, right? But if I were to spend the time, if I were to watch some YouTube videos, if I were to go to maybe trade school or tech school and learn how to do it, if I were to put in the hours and the apprenticeship and learn all the things and build mastery at that, you better believe I sure as heck I'm going to be confident at what I do because I'm competent at it. So instead of confidence, I want you to think about how you can build competence, how you can learn to do something. And competence is really about skills development. Now, Sometimes people can use this as an excuse. They're like, well, I'm just not going to do it. I don't know how to do it. Well, you learn to do it by whatever way works best for you. Everyone learns differently, but whatever way works best for you, learning to do the thing, watching someone else do it, reading how to do it, following instructions on how to do it, seeing examples of how it's done, and then doing it yourself, right? A great example of this is Instagram stories. So all the time we hear from people in our follower to fan program. I hear from people on Instagram who say, well, I know I should be doing stories. And yes, stories are a really important part of an effective Instagram marketing strategy. And they may even want to do stories, but they just don't feel confident enough to do stories. And for many people, for some people it is the confidence in, oh my gosh, my face is going to be on camera. I want to make sure I look good, all of those things. And that's something we can talk about, and that's something that I think a lot of people deal with. But again, this is just one of those, I think that is kind of cured by consistency. But for a lot of people, it's, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do this filter, how to add this thing, how to put a hashtag on it, right? What are those things right now? I'd love to hear from you in the comments that you maybe don't feel confident about. And as you're thinking about not being confident at that thing, it's that your confidence is connected to not knowing how to do it, right? Yeah. Tiffany says, for any Grey's Anatomy fans, learn one, do one, teach one. There's been a great little challenge floating around on TikTok recently. If any TikTok users are here, you may have seen it, where someone says, they're like, oh, you think just because I watch Grey's Anatomy, I'm not a real doctor and I can't really do it? Well, what about this? And then they start naming off all these like medical phrases and terms and different ideas. They're like, I know how to do it because I've watched Grey's Anatomy. Been watching it for like 10 years, right? So Carolyn says Reels is something. Dorothy says feeling confused about the difference between posts and stories. Fran says, what about the lack of confidence in decision making? I feel like I'm delaying decisions because I'm so nervous about what my field will be like when we're fully operating after COVID. Fran, such a good question. I'm so glad you asked. I literally have a decision making framework that I'm going to teach at the end of today's training. So you're in the perfect place. Lynn says, setting up stories still confuses me. Okay, got it. So y'all, this is a great example of something that maybe you're not doing right now. You're not confident at it because you just don't know how to do it. You don't have the competence. So this is the opportunity to build those skills. And there's so many ways you can learn. You can learn in a program like what we do inside of Follower to Fan, where we teach you an entire marketing strategy. We support with coaches and community and monthly calls and resources. That is a really great way to really get intentional, concentrated support for what you're doing. You can learn from free resources. You can learn from YouTube videos. You can learn from podcasts. You can learn from watching videos like this. There's so many ways that you can learn those skills, but competence is really about skills development. So I want to ask you today to think about, maybe spend some time brainstorming this afternoon. What are those skills that you really need to develop for the most, to create the most benefit or impact in your online business? What are those skills? And I want you to get clear on those skills, not from a place of FOMO or fear of missing out. I think there is a lot of times where we are FOMOing our skills development. We're like, oh, well, I need to learn this because maybe I'll need to use it one day, or maybe I'll want to know how to do this, right? And I think for a lot of people, buying courses, joining programs, downloading freebies, buying templates, PDFs, whatever it may be, a lot of that skills development comes out of that fear of missing out. Like, oh, well, maybe one day I'll need to know how to do that. Maybe one day I'll need to learn how to do this. Maybe one day I'll use this. I don't want you to maybe one day your skills development. This is where it's really important that you're clear. You're really clear on who you're helping with your product or service, how you help people through your product or service, the transformation you create, and then really understanding how to best connect with those people, position your product or service, and close the sale. I think Instagram is one of the best places to do it. So this is something that I stand by. I think Instagram is one of the best places to find your community online. It's one of the best places to sell your product or service. I'm doing it every day, and we have hundreds of clients right now in Follower to Fan Society who are doing it all the time. So Instagram's a great place to do it. But there are also people that see results on YouTube or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook or through email marketing or through a podcast. And they can all work. That's the thing I don't think anyone realizes. They can all work because they all do work. They can all work for all different types of niches and industries and types of customers. Any platform can work. Any marketing strategy can work. But what's important is that you get clear on the marketing strategy that you want to learn and implement, that fits best with your values, with your point of view, with how you want to connect with people, and that you develop skills based on that. So, instead of trying to be more confident, I want you to work on becoming more competent. Learn how to do things. And the second C, the best way to build competence and learn how to do something, is by doing so consistently. Now, this is where we really start to run into some issues. I know I do, because consistency is not fun and it's not sexy. There's nothing exciting about being consistent. Let me know in the comments if you find, if you like me, you're like, well, consistency is kind of boring, right? But I'll tell you right now, consistency, all it is, when we totally boil it down, all it is just doing something over and over and over again. That's all it is. And the goal, I think what's really important here about consistency is understanding the goal is not to finish. The goal is not to graduate. The goal is not to be done with it forever. The goal is simply to build a muscle. The goal is just to build the muscle. It's to do it over and over and over again. Sometimes you're going to be really excited to do it. Sometimes you're not going to be that excited to do it. Sometimes there's going to be a really great reward. Sometimes the reward at the end is not going to be that great. But you're just committed to doing it. And I find that being consistent, really one of the things that helps me the most, and it's important for you to get really clear on what is going to help you the most with consistency, but I find consistency, for me, works best when I have accountability. For me, I can be consistent when I have a deadline that I'm working toward, when I have a goal that I'm working toward, when I have people who I've told I'm going to be doing this thing. I'll give you an example. So right now, my team and I are preparing to launch a new course. We're launching it this May. It's called the Follower to Fan Academy. It's a new Instagram marketing course. We're taking everything that we've been doing for over 3 years now inside the Follower to Fan Society, inside of our membership version of our product. We're putting it into a standalone course that people can buy. It's a one-time purchase. They get access to it for life. And we're actually going to be closing the doors to the Follower to Fan Society, which is our membership where we teach Instagram marketing. And we have monthly resources like Q&A calls, hot seat calls. We have coaches. We have Instagram audits. We have a lot of support inside of Follower to Fan Society. We're actually closing the doors on Follower to Fan Society forever at the end of March. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking more about that next week. You'll have the opportunity to join us in the society before the doors close for the last time. But we're launching a new course in May. And part of this Facebook Live series, part of my podcast series, the Marketing Success series that starts next week, all of that is part of the launch, right? This is how we launch products online. We do live video, we teach, we create free resources, we build community, we start conversations, we really empower people and support them so that when the time comes to purchase, they feel like they can make the best purchasing decision. For me, that's what all this stuff is about, right? It's helping you make sure you can make the best decision about purchasing what I'm going to be offering, right? So to do that, I need to show up consistently on live video for about 10 weeks. That's my commitment to myself, that's my commitment to you, and that's my commitment to my team. Now, last week, I was so excited about doing the live video. It was the first one. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. It's been so long since I've done live on Facebook. This is going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I love it. And then today, I'm like, okay, I'm going live, and I don't feel my best right now. I don't feel my best today. My mental health's in a weird place. I started working with a new therapist last week, and y'all know if you've ever been to therapy, Lord have mercy. Coming out of therapy, you're like, I don't know how the world's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be upside down or right side up. All that's going on, but guess what? I am committed to saying okay, this is Tuesday at 2, going live is like something I'm going to do. And it's not just for me, it's for all of these other people that I've communicated this to, that I am accountable to. I'm accountable to people in my community. I'm accountable to my team. I'm accountable to our launch schedule, right? So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And next week, who knows? I may feel so excited. I may be so ready to go live, but I'm going to do it one way or the other, right? It's about that consistency. Now, I think part of what's key here to being consistent is by not overloading and overwhelming yourself with all the things you need to be consistent at. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. Instead of, and I think that's where we start to get ourselves in trouble. It's like, well, I'm going to be consistent at all of these things. I'm going to be consistent at a dozen things a week. I'm going to consistently go live. I'm going to consistently have a podcast. I'm going to consistently send an email. I'm going to consistently post on Reels. I'm going to consistently post in my feed. I'm going to consistently post on stories. I'm going to consistently post a YouTube video. I'm going to consistently create new content. Well, when you're doing that, again, we talked about this last week in the crash course in online marketing. The reality of running an online business for many of us is we're running these businesses with tiny teams or as solopreneurs. And when we were trying to be consistent in all the things, of course we're setting ourselves up for failure. Of course we're setting ourselves up to be overwhelmed. So the goal is to make a decision about what you need to build competence in, and then to decide what you need to do consistently, and just picking a couple of things, right? Just, oh my gosh, did y'all see that? That water bottle just spit at me. A couple of things you're going to be consistent at. And that's what we want to work towards. So for example, Instagram is one of those things for you. And I have a post in my feed. Rachel, I don't know if you can find this post back from the beginning of the year and put a link to it in the comments. But I have this post in my feed where I broke down like a quarterly or like a monthly marketing plan. I actually want to look it up and see, what did I call this? Month by month Instagram marketing plan. This is back from actually the end of 2020 for the whole year. And what I said is, instead of trying to improve everything all at once on Instagram, focus on one thing at a time. So for example, in January, build a better follower persona. In February, craft a better bio and really get your call to action dialed in. Right now in March, work on better feed posts. So work on improving the photo or the graphic you're putting in your feed, work on the caption you're writing, that type of stuff. Or actually, yeah, April, work on better captions. May, work on a better content plan. June, work on better stories. And someone commented and they said, well, why only do one of those things a month? You could do so much more. Why are you only telling people to do one thing at a time? That's not really going to make a big difference. It's going to make the biggest difference. It's going to make the biggest difference for you to focus on one thing at a time instead of trying to do it all at once. Instead of deciding, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to master Instagram. I'm going to be the best at it. I'm going to post all the time. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to have the best captions. I'm going to have the best reels. I'm going to go live every single week. And I start tomorrow. How well is that going to work out for you? Any other recovering yo-yo dieters in the room? Because I know I am. How well does that work out for us when it's like, all right, tomorrow's the day. Starting keto. I'm doing it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day I'm getting back on Weight Watchers, right? I've been on all the diets, y'all. I've done all the things. How well does it work out when we're like, you know what? This, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to do this moving forward forever and ever. Amen. This is what I do now, right? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So one thing at a time. One of my favorite phrases is, how do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So consistently focusing on a few things at a time, just making a few changes at a time and working on building that confidence. And all the while, keeping your blinders on so that you can maintain your confidence. Remember, being confident is being self-assured in your abilities, your talents, your qualities, not anyone else's. So the last thing I want to share with you is how you can make decisions you can stand by as you're trying to decide what skills you need to develop to build competence, as you're trying to get clear on what are the things that you want to do consistently. Maybe it's, I want to go live every single week on Instagram. Like, that's the big goal. Or I want to post 3 times a week in my feed. Or I want to post on stories every day, Monday through Friday. And that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to forget about everything else. I'm not going to worry about having the perfect feed right now. I'm just going to post on stories every single day, Monday through Friday, right? That could be the goal. Or I'm not going to worry about stories. I'm just going to post 2 reels a week. That's my goal, 2 reels a week. Eventually, the goal would be to get so good at creating reels, as the example, so good at creating reels. Your process is so simple. It's so streamlined. You know what you're doing. You know how you're showing up. You know how to do it in your sleep practically. You're competent because you've built the skill. You've done it consistently enough. You are confident at creating reels. And it's become so second nature to you that then you can start posting in the feed a couple times a week. You can just add that on, right? So great, you've gotten reels down. Now you've gotten really clear on what you're doing in the feed. Now let's talk about doing stories. Let's layer that on. Maybe we can start playing around. Maybe we can start replacing some of our reels with feed posts, or maybe our reels replace what we would typically do in the feed, or maybe we are doing our reels and sharing those to our stories, right? But it's about taking those small steps, piece by piece by piece. But how do you decide where to start? How do you decide what to do next? I worked on this framework for decision making, and I've taught it a lot in the past 6 months or so. And it's helped a lot of folks. It really helped me think about decisions that I'm making in my business. So I promised this to you earlier. I think it was Fran who was asking about making decisions. So there's just 3 simple parts. The first part is to get clear on the decision you're making. Is it in line with your vision, or is it in line with someone else's vision? So the decision you're making, if you're trying to decide, should I buy this course? Should I join this program? Should I hire this person? Should I focus on reels, or should I focus on posts, or should I focus on stories? Should I create a live video series? Should I launch that podcast? Whatever you're doing, the first question is this in line with my vision or with someone else's? Now, to do this, you have to understand the vision you're creating for your business. So what vision are you working toward? What's most important to you in terms of the amount of time you work and the kind of work that you do, the amount of money you want to make, the things that you want to sell? What's the vision of what you're creating? And asking yourself, am I doing this because I want to do it, or am I doing this because Tyler said to do it on a Facebook Live? Am I doing this because I want to do it, or am I doing this because I heard Amy Porterfield talk about it on a podcast? Am I doing it because I want to do it, or am I doing it because I saw 14 people in a Facebook group saying, oh, you have to be selling this kind of thing, or you have to be doing this, or you have to be doing that? You know, a lot of times in the online business space, people speak in a lot of absolutes about how you have to do things or you should do things. And my response to that is, anyone that's ever speaking in an absolute, even though me saying this is an absolute statement, but the thought process I have is, if you're speaking in an absolute, there's going to be an offer, a product, a program, or a service attached to the back of that absolute statement. So people who say, oh, you should never sell low ticket products. If you're a coach or consultant, or you're selling online training, you can't sell low ticket. Like, you have to sell high ticket. You should only be selling like $5,000, $10,000 coaching programs. That's it. People say that all the time. And my response is, okay, great. So what is your offer that's going to teach me how to create and sell a $5,000 or $10,000 group coaching program? Because I know it's coming. All right. You're not cute. You didn't trick me. I know what you're doing. Or people who say, oh, you should never sell high ticket. You should just sell low ticket. And my response is, okay, great. So where's your $47 thing that's going to teach me how to create and sell low ticket products or offers, right? So get clear on the decision you're making. Is it in line with your vision, or is it someone else's vision? Is it what you want for yourself and your business? All right. The next thing is to get clear on what it's going to, so it's part 2 of making a decision you can stand by. Get clear on the cost of making the decision. So what will it cost you to make that decision? And understand that the costs that we have when making decisions are more than money. Things can cost more than or different things than money. Is that making sense? So it's not about how much will this program cost, how much will this coach cost, how much will it cost to hire this person. It can also cost you resources. If you decide to do it yourself, it can cost you time. It can cost you credibility. It can cost you, oh my gosh, there's something else. Time, money, resources, credibility, effort, like all of those things. You know, a lot of times people think, well, I'm not going to hire someone. I don't want to spend the money, so I'm going to do it myself. But there's still an investment there. There's still a trade-off. There's still a cost of your time. I'm a big believer that I can always make more money, but I can't create more time. So 9 times out of 10, if it's going to save me time but cost me money, I'm going to spend the money. My husband and I, we had kind of have a rule that like we always pay for comfort and we always pay for expediency. So if we're traveling, for example, we're always going to pay to be comfortable. So we're always going to like try to fly first or upgrade or do something. We're always going to try to find a nice hotel or Airbnb. We're always going to pay for comfort and we're always going to pay for expediency. We're always going to get there as quickly as possible. If there's a cheaper flight, but it has 2 connections and there's a more expensive flight that has 1 connection, then I'm going to pay a little bit more for the more expensive flight so that I can get there faster. Because I can't create more time. I sure as heck don't want to spend more time sitting on an airplane. Oh my God, those were the days. Remember that when we could go places? And it's worth it to me, right? So what's it going to cost you as you're making those decisions? And the last question is simple. Is it worth it? Is the cost worth how much it costs to make that decision? And again, this is where you can go back to your vision and get in touch with that. So let me know if you got that in the comments. The 3 parts of making a decision. It's very simple. Vision, cost, worth. Is it in line with your vision or someone else's? How much will it cost? Is it worth it? So as you're building confidence, which we talked about today, comes through building competence and being consistent. And you're trying to decide, what skills do I need to develop? What things do I need to do consistently? Those are the questions I want you to ask yourself. Is it in line with my vision or someone else's? How much is it going to cost? Is it worth it? And that's it. Question after question after question. And then once you decide, get into action. Do it. Do something with it, right? Find accountability, find a community, find a coach, whatever the thing is that you need to get you to move into action so you can start seeing those results. And that, I think, is about all I have for you today. All about building confidence and why confidence is a slippery slope. Stop waiting until you're confident enough to start doing things because you're never going to feel confident enough to do it. Instead, put your blinders on, stop paying attention to other people so that you can fully appreciate your talents, your qualities, and your abilities. Get clear on the skills you need to develop so you can build competence, so you can get good at things, so that then the fear or anxiety or worry around not knowing how to do it is completely eliminated, and then do it consistently. But only do a few things consistently. Don't try and do all the things because that's going to create a lot of overwhelm for you. If you're ready to learn more about how to use Instagram for your online business, I want to invite you to grab my free Instagram roadmap. It's available at tylerjmccall.com/roadmap. This is a brand new, totally revamped roadmap for 2021. So we've put together this resource that walks you through all things Instagram marketing. We talk about what's working on Instagram now versus in the past and the 3 big trends for 2021, some of the mistakes you may be making with your Instagram marketing. We've also put together our entire framework that we teach our clients inside of this, so you can see it in a handy little graphic. And we put together a really cool matrix that breaks down the 6 pieces of Instagram from feed, feed post, stories, Reels, IGTV, Live, and direct messages, what each one is, how to use each part. So I saw someone asking, Dorothy was asking about the difference between posts and stories and Reels. Dorothy, go grab the roadmap because we've put together this whole resource that breaks it down. Every single piece of Instagram, how to use each piece of Instagram, the pros and cons of each. That's all at tylerjmccall.com/roadmap. So you can grab your copy over there. I'll be back here with you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. and every Tuesday at 2 through the beginning of May. So I hope to see you next week. We'll be talking more. Let me see what next week's topic is about. Please hold. Your call is important to us. Let's see what we're talking about next week. Oh, that's not it. Next week, we are talking about, I love it. Deborah says the roadmap is really helpful. Oh, next week's going to be so good. Next week, we're talking about the 2 ways to approach Instagram and which one is going to work best for you and your online business. There's really 2 kind of mindsets or approaches to Instagram that people can have. And one approach is how you're probably using Instagram regularly, and it's how the general public uses Instagram. But for us as creators, online business owners, entrepreneurs, marketers, because you are all of those things, if you're here with me right now, there's a different way to approach Instagram. So we'll be talking about that on next week's live. So hope to see you then. Okay, thanks for being here. Have a great day, everyone. See you next time.